I'm Kitty, and welcome to a chilling journey through the heart of New England on Maine, missing, murdered, unidentified in New England. Join me as we delve deep into the enigmatic cases that have haunted the corners of Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Buckle up, because in each episode, we'll time travel through the decade from January 1st, 2010 to December 31st, 2020. Some stories will keep you on the edge of your seat for longer, while others will offer quick, tantalizing glimpses into these mysterious tales. The truth is, these cases are often shrouded in secrecy, leaving us with only fragments to piece together. As we embark on this haunting journey, remember that all the research, storytelling, opinions, and even my inevitable mistakes are mine alone. I promise to keep you in the loop with updates and corrections whenever possible. While we won't issue trigger warnings for the wounds that are a crucial part of these narratives, we will do so when it comes to sensitive topics like suicide, animal loss, and domestic violence. So, stay tuned, stay curious, and let's uncover the untold stories of New England together. Now with that, please listen in as I tell you about August 2013. August 22nd, 2013. William Billy Mac McIntyre is deceased and missing. McIntyre, 51, partied harder, fished longer, and landed more monsters, often in second-rate boats, than almost anyone else he knew. And he knew everyone worth knowing in this seaside town, and was a boisterous, gleeful presence in the lives of nearly all of them. There was this one time a hurricane was rolling through, and Billy Mac went to the aid of a new and local restaurant, helped them bunker down, and essentially saved the place. In return, the restaurant stayed open for the fishermen of the community so they could keep watch over their boats as the storm passed through. Billy Mac was a local celebrity. Billy Mac loved his friends and family, was an avid lobsterman who spent summers with his dad lobstering, harpooning, and hand-reeling blue tuna. Billy Mac was described as fearless. Nothing scared him. He was an adventurer and a lover of life. Sure, he gained some weight and lost some hair, but the evolution seemed to end there. Except he had a new truck. Billy Mac was said to have loved the finer things in life. Wine, women, weed, etc. Worked harder, played harder. Billy Mac's reputation preceded him. Tim Levesque and Billy Mac were work friends, turned best friends, over a bond of shared labor, and had met up with 3 women the night Billy's life came to an end. The 5 drank and bar hopped, and while flirting, laughing, and conquering a language barrier, Billy Mac had the idea to take the group on a night boat ride. The 4 others agreed. The 5 rowed out to the Bell Buoy, about a mile offshore, where Billy decided it was time for a swim. Billy stripped down to his boxers and jumped into the cold August ocean from the port side gunwale, one of the women following close behind. Both people paddling in the ocean contently. When 30 seconds went by, Tim heard screams of, "I can't swim!" from the other side of the boat in the dark waters. Shortly after, Billy Mac said he would help Stephanie, one of the women from the bar, swim back to the boat, and seconds after that, friends saw Billy Mac floating face down 15 to 20 feet away. Without hesitation, Tim tied a rope around himself and dived into the waters desperately, trying to pull Billy Mac back aboard, but was unsuccessful. The rope that Tim tied to himself had become entangled in the propeller, tightening with every tug of Billy Mac's body in a desperate attempt to bring him home. Tim and Billy Mac were friends to the end. I looked down at Billy and I told him, "I'm sorry, buddy, but I gotta let you go." "I had to make the toughest decision of my life," said Tim. Tim flopped back onto the deck exhausted, ears ringing, his nerves on fire from exertion. His head throbbed from impacting the hull and had a cut opened up the bridge of his nose. Shock was setting in as Tim called for help, turned the boat around, and began to search desperately for Billy Mac. Love your friends and family to the fullest and tell them, because you never know when they may be gone, said Tim Levesque. That fateful night had been one of celebrating life and living for the day. Billy Mac, an Ogunquit, Maine native, standing at 6 feet, 225 pounds, with brown hair, ventured to take his companions to Perkins Cove in Maine. Billy Mac was a fishing legend, one whose quiet death was a jarring end to a life lived at full volume. Designated unofficial mayor, Billy Mac was a grinning, fun-loving man with a penchant for making fast friends wherever he went. If you find any remains in the sea in Maine, please call 1-207-633-2661. August 23rd, 2013. 51-year-old fisherman John W. Fitzy Fitzgerald was much like Billy Mac of our previous case, lost to his beloved sea, this time off the coast of Nantucket, Massachusetts. Born in Needham on August 24th, 1961, to Eleanor and John Fitzgerald, John was one of 9 children. John possessed a wry sense of humor, was kind and quirky, and had 5 children: Brian, Matthew, Thomas, Janet, and Molly. John was a hard worker who lived in both Nantucket, Massachusetts, and Big Pine, Florida. The other case that we have for the month of August 2013 is that of John W. Dogman Fitzgerald, who is deceased and missing. Many longtime Needham residents will never forget John's appearance in the town's annual 4th of July parade. John, who was in elementary school, dressed as an organ grinder for the popular Horribles walk. On his shoulder was the family's pet spider monkey, George. Halfway through the parade, George broke his tether and scampered up a nearby telephone pole, leaving John in tears and halting the parade until the Needham Fire Department could dispatch the ladder truck and a firefighter to retrieve the wayward monkey. John was last seen on a private recreational fishing vessel, wearing white shorts and a blue t-shirt. John has short brown hair and blue eyes, quick wit, and a pirate's smile. I will forever have a smile on my face when I think of John Fitzgerald. His silly, dry, quick wit brought me to my knees often and in seconds. He was hilarious, a storyteller like no other. He was the definition of a character. Hardest worker I ever knew. A true Irishman right down to his bones. He will be greatly missed, but never forgotten. John enjoyed wrestling in high school, and swimming, and hunting, and bow hunting, fishing, skiing, snowmobiling. Essentially, if it was outdoorsies, he was doing it. John was also an animal lover with a menagerie of pets, including dogs, cats, hedgehogs, guinea pigs, iguanas, and a special love for chinchillas due to his youngest daughter, Molly. John owned his own business, Fitzgerald Masonry, which later turned into Fitzgerald and Sons Masonry when his sons expressed interest in the family business. John's kindness far exceeding your average, his no-fear scrappiness, his unequivocally hard-working hands, and a bloodline flooding with humor made John an absolute privilege to simply know. If you come across any remains in the sea, please call 1-800-494-TIPS. If you have any questions, complaints, or concerns about the podcast you encountered here today, please message me at minepodcast@gmail.com. That's mine with 2 M's, 2 I's, 1 N, 1 E at gmail.com. And thank you so much for listening. Later, y'all.